and the media went mad for it, right? That feels like yesterday to me. What do you reckon, Noel? Are you going to do it? The rarest of these, and possibly the most valuable, would be this. Hello and welcome to the video. For this video, I would like to talk to you about, this is heavy, a collection of Oasis magazines from the 90s. I've shown these in a couple of recent videos as part of my push to clear old stock and deal with stuff I've had hanging around forever. And these I've had for a very long time. I was trying to remember when I bought them. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 10 years ago I picked these up. Now, I don't tend to keep stock for anywhere near that long, but I've been hanging on to these in the hope that Oasis will reform and do like a last hurrah, a big world tour, and Oasis collectibles and merchandise will go through the roof in price. That was my thinking, and they never have. Now, I mentioned this in a recent video and I had some comments saying, hold fire, I think they might be reforming. And I've looked into it, I've browsed around on the internet, and I'm not so sure. Liam is planning to tour Definitely Maybe, as in doing the whole album as a show. Null is not involved, didn't want to be involved apparently. There are rumours that next year, which will be the 30th anniversary of What's the Story Morning Glory, some of these magazines are from that period, 1995, 30 years ago. How is that possible? So there are rumours that they may bury the hatchet and tour next year. But you know what? I've made the decision I'm going to sell this collection off. Will I regret it? And when they announce this big tour next year, if it happens, I'm not sure it will. You know, will these be suddenly worth twice what they're worth now? What do you reckon, Noel? Are you going to do it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, what I want to do for this video is just run through what I found out about these magazines. I will share on screen some completed eBay listings of some of these exact magazines to give you an idea and to show you that I'm not just making up these prices. Some of these are very collectible and quite valuable. Some aren't. It's as with most things, right? Some have value, some really don't. Anyway, let's get into it. So if we start with this one, this I think there was a cover of Liam and a cover of Null. This is the Null one, and this was to celebrate the Nebworth and Loch Lomond's gigs, I believe. Yeah, and I'll pop on screen here because I did find one of these that had completed recently, and that sold for 20 plus post. I've seen people with it listed for higher. That was on bid starting at 20, and that's what it sold for. So I would list it, buy it now for at least 20, maybe a bit more. These other two select magazines, not as much value. I think I found copies of this one had been selling for around 10. This one is a bit wrecked, and I think it's missing one of the posters, or is it? Hang on a minute. No. Okay, it does have the Glastonbury poster in there, but the magazine itself is in a bit of a mess. So I've decided I will probably bundle that pair as two select magazines and go for maybe £15 on those. And then moving on, this could be a bit of a winner. This is Sky magazine. And I think this is rather a rarity. I couldn't actually find any solds for this. So it hasn't sold recently on eBay. But as you can see in this picture, currently there's a few listed and people are asking anywhere up to £45. So what will I do? I think I will list it around 30, 35 and see what happens. Maybe have offers on that. But it's a nice one. It's a bit of a rarity. I don't know if this magazine was a short-lived thing or if it didn't sell many copies. But yeah, that's a nice one. As is this one. Now this is the face. I remember this magazine so clearly from back in the mid to late 90s. So this has Liam on the cover there. But again, I couldn't find any recently sold of this. So it's really hard to judge what people might pay. As you can see here, there's a couple listed from 25 up to, into the high 30s. Whether they will achieve that is another question. Maybe I'll pop this one on for 25 free shipping and see if we can get that for it. It's just such an iconic image and magazine from the time. So that could be a good one. But I think perhaps the rarest of these and possibly the most valuable would be this. This is Time Out. So this is from November 1995. And again, I couldn't find any completed. I did find a completed poster advertising the magazine with this picture on it that had sold for pretty good money. But there's only currently one listed available on eBay. And as you can see, they're trying to get 75 plus post. Now, is that achievable? I mean, this is the question, right? Are they just chancing their arm and seeing what happens? I might just put mine on a bit less than that and have best offers on. I don't know, what would you do? When I've been researching, I've been looking these up, and some people do go the auction route, and some really fly and some really don't. This is the thing about auctions. So I could do an auction, start it at a price I would be happy with, see what interest I get. I will more likely go the pitch it quite high and have offers and see what people offer me. But that may be the rarest and most valuable here. But another good one is this. Such an iconic moment in the 90s was the Blur versus Oasis. When they both released singles the same week, it was Roll With It and Country House. And Blur managed to win that fight and the media went mad for it, right? This cover is kind of so iconic of the time. British Heavyweight Championship. So there's Damon and Liam, Blur versus Oasis. The big chart showdown. That feels like yesterday to me. I was actually into both bands. I was just thinking, did I buy the singles? I did buy Roll With It, but I don't think I bought Country House. Sorry, Damon. Mind you, he didn't need my help. So there weren't many of these that had sold recently on eBay, but this one on screen here was listed as an auction. And as you can see, that did attract quite a lot of interest. 17 bids and finished at £39 plus post. So maybe that gives me quite an accurate indication of how far people are happy to go on that. So maybe I list that at 40, buy it now and see if somebody snaps it up. But that is such a nice cover that you could frame. You may have seen in our recent bathroom renovations, I framed a couple of this size and shape magazine covers, and they look really cool. Actually, one was a cover and one was an advert from inside the magazine. And then this one is quite obscure, really. This is Life magazine, which was a supplement with The Observer. So is this 95 again? Yeah, September 95. And yeah, a little bit unusual. Doesn't seem to hold a great deal of value though. Not such an iconic image, not such an iconic magazine. I'd probably get about £10. You can see on this completed one, they had it on at £8 plus £3 post. But yeah, nice thing, should sell. This one's a bit unusual. This is Oasis On Top. I remember back in the 90s, they used to do magazine specials just about a band. So this is all about Oasis, like a kind of one-off. I assume it was a one-off. It says 100% unofficial, Oasis on top. It says 95 still, can't even see a date on it. So it's just a little mini magazine full of articles about Oasis and posters and pictures. Couldn't find anything on completed, so I don't know. 15, 20 maybe, I'll pitch that, see what happens, have offers on. Interesting item. Then we have some Q magazine. This was a publication I used to buy quite regularly back in the day. These do sell individually, but I don't think it's really worth my time, and there's a lot of them out there. So the 3 issues I've got here, all Oasis covers, I'm going to bundle these together. They're worth maybe £5 to £10 each, but they are common, so there's a lot of competition. So to separate myself from that competition, I'm going to bundle the 3, and what did I think I was going to go? 15 to £20, that sort of price, and I think they will get snapped up. And then we have a Vox magazine. Looking at completeds of this, it's, you know, maybe worth a £5, not a great deal. Mojo there, similar, and a duplicate of this Q from that little bundle of Q magazines. For some reason there was 2 of this one in that collection. And this, which is actually a paperback book, doesn't hold much value, doesn't sell for much beyond a £5. So I'm just going to bundle those probably for £20. Try and stand out again, something a little bit different. Get those gone. And then everything else is Enemy and Melody Maker. Now I could list these individually, but none of these seem to go for a great deal. So I've decided, I don't know whether this is wise, but I'm going to do one big bundle with all of these and see how they go. What did I decide price-wise? I've put down tentatively £30 for the bundle. I may even do that on auction. I don't know. There's some really nice covers in here. I think it will go well, and then I won't be hanging around for ages waiting for sales on individual magazines. So that's my thinking at the moment. I did think at several points through doing the research I should keep it as a collection. But then how much would I ask? Because if I add up what I think I might be able to achieve for these, and some like the Time Out, I really don't know what that will go for. You know, the Face magazine, what's that going to fetch? I really don't know. These bundles, I don't know, but even conservatively, it's well over £200, possibly £250 or beyond. So as a bundle, am I really going to achieve that? It's a good question. It's a lot less work to do one listing, lay them all out, and then do close-up pictures of all the magazines. And then it's one packaging job. Whereas what have I decided here? Was that 10, 15 different lots? I don't know. But this is the current plan, and my plans do tend to change and evolve. Do this many some individual listings, some little bundles. And yeah, like I said, depending on whether I get the full asking price, and a lot of this I will list fairly high and have offers on. See what we get, but it should be an easy 200 plus. Remember, there's always postage. Some of this will have postage on, some I might do free shipping, like on the bundles, I don't know. You've always got to factor in eBay fees and postage if you're not adding that on to your listings. But yes, and then the only other question, as I said earlier, is will I regret selling them now if they do reform next year for the 30th anniversary of What's the Story Morning Glory? Still can't quite compute, that's 30 years ago when I bought that album. in 95. I was a poor art student at that moment in time, but I really did get on the Oasis bandwagon. I was totally into it. Saw them at Nebworth. That was an amazing gig, really was. And Nebworth was just down the road from where I used to live. I was away at art college, but my home was Datchworth, which is a village just next door to Nebworth. And when they had the gigs there, we could hear them from our house. That's how close we were. So we walked down to the Oasis Nebworth gig. I was at the Sunday one. They did two shows. But yeah, 30 years ago. So yes, will I live to regret clearing these now? Maybe, but you do what you do, right? And I've made the decision, the research is done. I'll be quite happy if I can, make 200 plus back on these. So that, I think, is what I'm going to do. I have sold magazines on and off over the years, from music magazines, which I have a bit of a passion for. You probably all know I'm a music fanatic. These are so much fun to look through as well and read the articles and look at the charts. I've had a real good time looking through these. It's very hard not to get distracted whilst dealing with music magazines if you're a music fan. But yeah, I've sold music magazines over the years. What else have I sold? Car magazines. I bought a big collection once of vintage car magazines. They did okay in bundles. There is a market for it. It's worth looking at. Like anything, there are magazines that just do not sell and don't really have a market, and others that are really sought after and quite valuable. As you can see in this collection, the difference in price between just these is quite extreme. With everything, knowledge is key, and looking up and researching is the way forward. Anyway, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to carry on watching me, I will pop a video up here where I'm looking at some other little niche within reselling on eBay. So check this one out if you would like to. Until next time, ta-ra.